Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to go over all things Thunder Laser. How has my Thunder Lasers held up to production type work for the last 2.5 to 3 years? How have they lasted running full time, pretty much every day, all day? How have they lasted? What are some takeaways that I have? What are some tips that I have? Things that we've added, things that we've taken away. What we're just going to go over it all today. So if you guys are curious, maybe you are considering getting a laser, maybe you're just doing your research, or maybe you're just curious on how business life has been going, having a full-time laser business, then just keep on watching and we'll get into it all. So I want to go ahead and put a disclaimer here in this video because I know that there's probably people wondering and people curious. This is not an ad. This is my full, complete, honest opinion of owning Thunder Lasers for the last 2.5 to 3 years. I do these types of videos to help people out, people that are curious, people that are looking for a laser, because I was that person at one point looking for a laser and trying to find people that have had experience with lasers. And so this is my complete honest opinion. You guys know if you've watched my channel in the past, I only recommend products that I have tried and tested and experienced myself. So I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there before we got started. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So if you guys are new to my channel, first off, hi, I'm Sally, and I'm here on YouTube just kind of sharing all the crafty things. I love to make things with my hands. I love to use my creativity to just do different things. And so I've had a small business here for many, many years. I have sold a lot of different types of products. I have honestly just loved making different types of things and just kind of learning different skill sets and trying and selling different types of products. And so a couple years ago, I really fell in love with just making wood signs. I knew that woodworking was kind of my thing, and that's kind of what I really wanted to niche down and do. And so I decided if I wanted to continue to grow my wood sign game and to kind of level it up a little bit, I needed to get a laser. And I decided I wanted a CO2 laser. And so I have other videos kind of going into more details on why I chose Thunder. But just in short, basically we did research for probably a year trying to find laser companies. You know, we called all the different companies, we did all the research. We really honestly wanted to get the best bang for our buck. We wanted to get a good laser. We wanted to get something that was going to withstand business use, because that is what the goal was, right? So I called around all the companies, did all the research, and we ended up going with Thunder Laser. And y'all, it is unmatched. And this is not, I'm not just saying that because we own it. I'm saying that because we've tested it out and used it and know. But the quality, the customer support, the community that they seem to have built, the capabilities of the machine, I could just go on and on and on with why Thunder kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, and we decided to go with them. It only took a couple of weeks to get our first laser. We went with the Nova 51 130 watt. And once we got it, we had our support training call and learned all the things with the laser. Within the time I was waiting for the laser, I really did my research trying to learn as much as I could, learn Lightburn, which is the software that they use, and just kind of be ready for it to come in. Once it came in, I learned it really fast. It was honestly super user-friendly for someone like me that has not had experience with a laser before. And after probably a week or so, I was ready to go. So we got it in December of 2021, and we were adding products to our shop and selling them by January of 2022. So we ended up getting our second laser, which is another Nova 51 130 watt. That same year in 2022, we got it towards, I guess, November or so. So it was almost a year from having our first laser. So business really took off. It really boomed. My husband was able to quit his job and work with me full time, and we work together now. And so it's just kind of taken off from there. We also have a Thunderbolt laser, which we have up in our craft room that we have absolutely loved. It's honestly amazing as well. We've loved having our 3 lasers. So it's been 2.5 years, and you might be wondering, okay, Sally, how has it held up? How often do you use it? What have you done? What are the different things that you recommend in this video? Let's get to the update, Sally. So let's go ahead and start getting into that update now. All right, so in this first topic, we're going to discuss some of my favorite things that have stuck out to me on my Thunder machines. So first is maintenance and how easy it is to work on. So when it comes to the Thunder laser, it's extremely easy to maintain. I thought when I got it, I was kind of stressed out, not knowing oh my goodness, how much are we going to have to clean? How much work is that going to be? Blah, 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 blah. It has not been that bad. So every single day when we go out, start up our lasers, so fast and easy to get started for the day. So we're going to kind of go into upgrades here in a little bit, but basically we turn our air on, I go over and I wipe over all the optics on the lasers. So the main parts is the laser head has a lens in it, so I clean it off with alcohol, both sides of it, put that back in, and then you have two main mirrors that you clean. It's the mirror that's in your laser head, and then there's another mirror that's kind of on the side of your laser. So I focus really good on those two, or those three, I guess. The one in the back you don't have to clean as often. There's another mirror and lens and stuff on the back of your machine. Those are not really open and have to be cleaned as often as the optics that are right in the front of the laser. So I clean off all of those, and then we're ready to go. The air's on, things are clean, everything's good to go. So the ease of maintenance daily is extremely fast, extremely easy. I usually have everything up and running in about 5 minutes, so that's not bad. And then of course, you have like other types of maintenance you have to do, like vacuuming things out, keeping it wiped down, putting oil on the laser rails, and different things like that. But regardless, it's pretty simple, pretty easy to do. And like I mentioned, Thunder lets it, like, kind of lays everything out for you on their website on how to maintain it. So that part has been no complaints. Next thing I want to highlight is the speed. So these lasers can cut at pretty high fast speeds and some pretty thick materials. I love how fast we're able to work. It's really able to hold up to the quantity that we're giving it. We mostly cut 1/4-inch birch plywood. That is what we mainly make and sell. Our wood signs are made out of. So it is held up really well to that. It cuts through really fast. Obviously, you have to look out for things like your wood being flat, making sure you're getting a good grade wood, making sure that your lenses and all are clean. But if you have all those things good to go, your laser can cut extremely fast, extremely accurately, and everything will be good to go. So I wanted to highlight that I love how quickly the machine can hold up. So kind of piggybacking off of speed, it is extremely quiet. So a lot of people are curious on how loud the Thunder laser is, and I think they like to compare it to the sound of a quiet vacuum just kind of running. It is almost, you almost forget that it's running. It's so quiet. Now, you will hear things like your air compressor running, your chiller, things like that, but it is honestly not bad at all. The loudest thing is your air compressor pretty much, and we have kind of eliminated the sound of our laser running by having a line going out to my husband's shop. And so we don't even hear the air compressor running at all anymore, because we did have the Cobalt quiet air and we had it running in there with me, but that thing isn't really that quiet. I'll be honest with y'all. It kind of just is sitting there running continuously. So that's the most annoying thing. The laser within itself is very quiet. So love the speed, love how quiet it is. So another thing that I really love about Thunder is the software that they use. So they use Lightburn, which I know a lot of laser people are familiar with. I absolutely love Lightburn. Just like Thunder, they have a lot of helpful information on their websites, tutorials, just different things. Like any questions you have, you'll pretty much find the answer to. So the process, the designing, everything goes really smoothly. We have all of our projects designed and ready to go. I take my computer, I take a laptop that I use strictly for the shop, out to the shop, plug it right into the laser, and all of our projects are ready to go. So it's always been a super seamless process, always run really well. We've never had any hiccups or any mechanical issues or any problems from the software to the laser. Everything always works really good. The only thing you got to keep up with is obviously clearing out your files on your laser, and that's really easy to do through the Ruida controller, which, by the way, I really love the Ruida controller on the laser too. We use all the things on there, like the frame tool and moving the head around the axis. It's just, everything works so well, and I just love how seamless everything is. Some of our favorite tools, things we use on a daily basis, is the frame tool, where you just frame your job from the software to your laser. I use that every single day, multiple times a day, as well as, I think it's the point tool, where you click the button, you click on different parts of the software, and it drives your laser head to the exact part of your software. So that's really helpful if you have an object that you want to place in your laser bed, but you don't know where to drive it or where to put the head. So where are you going to cut it? Where are you going to engrave it? So it's very easy to use that as well. So I wanted to mention that those are some of my favorite tools and things that I use every single day, all day. And also Lightburn it's very easy to set your different cut settings and different things like that. You just coordinate it by color. Lightburn has it where you can pick a color for each cut job. So for example, we use a lot of 1/4-inch birch plywood. So that is red in our laser software. So I'll do all of the jobs that are cut in that in red. And then if you want to score, that is our black, but you can make it a different color. So it's just, anyways, I won't get into too many details about that, but I really, really love the software, the capabilities from Lightburn to Thunder. I think that everything just works together really well, really seamlessly, and that is a big perk. So another thing that I honestly is probably one of my absolute favorite parts of Thunder, because I feel like it makes them such a trustworthy, well-established company, is their support. So the few times that I've had to reach out to them for different things, the support is on it. Those guys are back to you within minutes, and everyone in the Thunder groups will vet the same things. They are amazing. If you need a question answered, they are on it. They're there for you. They can help you right away. And it doesn't take 24 hours to get back to you. It's literally within minutes, and it's amazing. I absolutely love that, because as a business owner, you're going to want something that you get your questions answered quickly, because when your machines are down or when anything is messed up, you need to get it fixed quickly. And so if you're looking for a company that is going to have your back as a business, I cannot rave enough about Thunder, you guys. And they also have a great Facebook group as well. I think it's called Global Thunder Laser Users. They are always helping each other. If people have questions on their lasers, even the support's in there and they can answer as well. So it's just honestly, it's amazing to be able to, if you have a question, you can look it up in the Facebook group, or you can look it up on their website. And if it's something that you don't know, or like you don't know what's going on with your machine, you can open up a ticket and, like I said, instantly get answers to your question. So I think that's amazing. I think as a business, that is something that you should look into. Is I've heard from some competitors, I've heard before that people have had problems getting their things responded to, or getting parts when they needed it quickly. And another thing about support, if you need something like a part shipped to you, it's super quick. They get it out like same day. I think most things are same day. So that is an awesome, yet again, if you have a problem and you have a business, that's something that you got to look into. So I just wanted to mention how amazing their support is, how amazing their team is, how friendly everyone is. So that's always a perk. So I could talk for hours and hours on how much I love Thunder and all my favorite things about it, but I'm going to try and condense this part down just a little bit. But the last thing I wanted to mention within this topic is how well it's held up to production type work. So like I mentioned before, we are running these lasers from when we wake up in the morning until we shut down for the evening, and they are running all day, every day. And they have held up extremely well, you guys. I am honestly so impressed. We've had no major issues at all. I'm going to get into the few minor things that we've had come up, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. But for the amount of work we do and all the things that this laser has put up with, it has done amazing. So that's another favorite part of the laser, is if you have a business, it holds up very well to production type work, continuously running. It does good. All right, so let's talk about some upgrades that we have made in the last 2.5 to 3 years of having our Thunder laser. So if you guys haven't seen my 1-year laser update, I kind of go into some of those and show you guys a lot of our upgrades that we did when we first got our laser for the first year, some different things that we did. But just to kind of summarize, if you don't want to go back and watch that video. So in the beginning, when we first got our laser, we were noticing a lot of water in the air lines. If you don't know anything about lasers, basically you have an external air compressor. Some people like to connect an external air compressor to their laser. And sometimes if you live in a humid environment like us, we live in South Carolina, water can get in the air lines, and that can affect your cuts. So sometimes if there's water in the lines, it can make it not cut through as well. You might have to up your power. You might wonder what is going on. Why are my cuts looking kind of funky? Something isn't right. So we ended up figuring out that it was just our air setup. We needed to add more drying to it, so desiccant beads, different things like that. So that is something that we upgraded. We got a better external air compressor, and we also added a gigantic desiccant bead monster that basically, when it goes from the air compressor, it goes through those beads, through more beads, and then it hits your laser. So that was the first upgrade that we did. We added that big monster desiccant beads and stuff, and it did well. We were having to change in the beginning our desiccant beads. It seemed like every couple jobs we were having to change our beads out. They would get pink. So they turned pink whenever they got wet. So we were like, oh, had to change them multiple times a day. So we knew that there was different setups and things that we did. So we ended up eventually, this was a newer thing, we added an air dryer. So I think it's by, hold on, let me look at what the name is. is Ingersoll Rand. So an Ingersoll Rand air dryer, we added that from our air compressor to the air dryer, and then that goes to the beads. So we have zero water. It is absolutely as dry as can be and absolutely amazing. You guys, I cannot stress enough, if you have a laser in a shop and you have problems with humidity, get an air dryer. It is a life changer. It has made everything so much easier. We went from changing our beads out a couple times a day to probably once a week now. We change out our beads once a week, and that's full-time work. So love the air dryer. It just kind of blows out water every like however many seconds my husband has it set up to. So that's been a really cool upgrade. Highly, highly recommend it. I'll link down below the exact one we have. It's been really nice. It's been working really well. So that is an upgrade that we did. So you might have seen this in the 1-year update, but we did hard plumb the back of the laser. So that is from the exhaust fan to the laser out your the out part of your home or wherever you have your laser. So we added like hard plumbing to that, and I really love that because it's really seamless, and you don't smell the smoke or anything as much because everything's really kind of like hard plumbed in there. You don't have that flexi hose stuff. Now, if you plan on moving your laser out, utilizing being able to move it around, you might not want to do that. But for us, we never really used the pass through in the back, so there was no need for us to have the flexi hose. I think that's what it's called, flexi hose. But yeah, we really like the hard plumbing. So that's an upgrade that we did. And then recently upgraded one of our exhaust fans. So those are really all of the upgrades that we've had, and everything's worked great. If you're looking at what upgrades do I absolutely need, I would definitely say an external air compressor I think can kind of level up your laser to the fullest of its capabilities. It did great with the stock fan it came with, but if you're going to be running business use all day, every day, I would recommend probably upgrading that. And then having a really good air dry setup system if you have humidity problems. Because like I said, we did, but we completely eliminated that with the air dryer, the desiccant bead setup, and the hard plumbing and stuff is not really a necessity. It's just if you want to. The stock fans that come with your laser are excellent. Honestly, I would not even upgrade those unless you absolutely have to. And that's something that once they go out, if the fans go out, you can upgrade them to, I think it's the AC Infinity is the one a lot of people recommend. But the ones that Thunder has are excellent and amazing. And like I said, I wouldn't even upgrade it unless you absolutely need to. So those are the upgrades that we've made. Okay, next thing is weather. How has the laser held up to being outside in a shop that does not have air conditioning, things like that? So I live in South Carolina, so you guys know our winters, we can have some really cold times in the winter, but not like super bad. It probably stays maybe 30 to maybe 25 at the lowest. And then our summers get very hot, so 100 plus degrees sometimes. So how has it held up in the garage? It's held up great. We do have a mini split air system that we use on really hot days, things like that. So that's been great, but the laser within itself, how we have combated the super freezing nights, we use RV antifreeze. Thunder does now accept that as something that you can utilize within your chiller. So we put the RV antifreeze in the winter. That has held up wonderfully. We've never had any busted tubes, anything like that from cold nights. And then in the summertime, we just change it to distilled water. So having that combination for 2.5 years has done great. If there's ever a super, super cold night ahead, if you have a way to put heaters in there, you can. There are things that you can do, but it's held up well. And then the only other problem with weather, like I mentioned to you guys in the previous topic, is the air dry system. Just make sure you have a good system set up for humidity if you have that, to make sure you don't have air in your lines so you can get smooth cuts, and then you'll be good to go. All right, let's go over any of the issues that we've had in 2.5 years with our Thunder laser. So when we first got the laser, the first problem, which I mentioned before, was the desiccant bead slash air dry setup, and it wasn't really an issue. That was just something that I had to figure out for my circumstances. So that was issue number one. Second little issue we had was that our laser head was slightly tilted when we first got laser one. And I kept thinking that my laser was out of alignment. So I tried to align the laser, and I was aligning it to the crooked head. So that was causing a lot of headache and difficulty because I didn't know that the head was tilted. we didn't check that. We were just aligning it based off of thinking everything was straight, and it was so slightly tilted that it affected it, but we just didn't know. And the laser was just how we knew is it wasn't cutting that great. It was like I was having to bump up my power and bump up things like that. And so I ended up figuring out after talking to support that all it was the head was slightly tilted. So, and we think that was just due to a loose bearing on the head. So when you get your laser, just check that the head is tight. Something that I should have done before. I didn't know, but now I know. So just check your head, make sure it's tight. And if it's not, you just tighten the screws up. It's super easy. But that was the problem all along. We adjusted that. I think that our gantry, we ended up tightening just a little bit, or not tightening. I think we had to move it slightly to the left or to the right just to get everything straight. And it was perfect after that. So that was the first issue that we had that was like not that big of a deal, but it was something that I did not understand. And it took me a while to figure out different parts of my machine. And I'm honestly really glad that I had that happen because I was able to truly learn my machine and how to work on things. And my husband's already really good at working on things. But when I brought him in there and I was like, hey, let's look at this. Let's figure this out. We were able to all troubleshoot together and figure it out really quickly that that's all it was all along. And I didn't even know. So another issue that we had that came up, and this was recent, like 2 weeks ago, our laser tube started to fail. So when you have lasers and you're running thousands of hours and you're really having to ramp up the speed and ramp up the power and you're running it full business production use, your laser tubes are probably going to eventually go out. That's part of having a laser. That's part of maintenance. That's part of the material cost that you're going to have to expect to pay when you have a laser. When you're running them as a business, it's probably going to go out depending on how much you use it, how often you use it, how much power you're using, all the things. So our laser tube started, how we knew is it started to kind of, we were having to really ramp up our power to like 95, and we were having to slow it down to really slow speeds to get it to cut. And it was kind of a slow progression, but one morning it just decided, it was like, yeah, you're gonna have to kind of go really, really slow and amp up the power. So we kind of knew something was definitely off. So I went and chatted with support. Got back with me super fast. We checked and troubleshooted all the things. We went and checked our alignment first. It wasn't that. We checked the power supply. It wasn't that. And then we narrowed it down to the tube. So I was really nervous at first because I was like, what if it's not the tube and we're about to, spend this money and get this tube and it not be it? So Thunder got me a tube within that same day. They shipped it out and it was here 3 days later. And unfortunately, this is how good support is though, you guys. Unfortunately, the tube was broken due to the shipping company, which when I opened it, it was a very small little piece of glass inside of the tube, and I knew that it wouldn't work. So emailed Thunder support, got back instantly. They apologized, and they sent me another one. And in 3 days, I got a brand new tube, perfect condition. And you guys, they shipped that thing really well. It had like little springs in it that kept it. It was like amazing. I was like really impressed by that. But got the new tube in, put the tube in the laser, and turned it on. And you guys, that laser was working like never before. Honestly, probably better than even when we first got it. And we got our power turned down super low, and we were able to have it cut at a very decent speed. We hadn't seen that speed in a while in that laser because I think it was starting to slowly go down. So I just wanted to explain to you guys how amazing just changing a part like that can be. And it was honestly super easy to replace that tube. I didn't expect that it was only just a couple little things you had to plug in. And then we checked our alignment, and like I said, everything was perfect, and the laser worked great, and it's working great now. And then the only other issue, and this is it, you guys, after this, was our exhaust fan started to go out on that same laser. And I think this was probably just due to years of use, and it just decided to slowly start going out, which honestly, it's had no problems since, but all of a sudden I noticed more smoke accumulating in the laser. It was still running, but it was just really smoky. So we decided to order the AC Infinity exhaust fan. So we ordered that one, got it put in today, and it's working great. And so now everything is working good as new. And those are the only issues we've had, you guys. So obviously mentioning the good, I had to go over some of the minor issues we've had. And to me, those are very minor. it is part of having a business. You're going to come across things that you have to change, things you have to do. It's part of like your business expenses. You just have to change things out and you have to adjust things. And when you have a machine like that, you're going to have to tweak things every now and again. You're going to have to change out parts that need parts changed out. That is just kind of how it goes. But to me, for how much use we've gotten out of it, I think that's pretty good. And I'm very impressed, especially with how support has handled those issues that I've had. The fact that they have a US base that they can ship you out parts instantly, get you it within a few days. When you have a business, that is extremely reliable to me, and that makes me feel safe. It makes me feel secure. It makes me feel comfortable continuing to run my business with using these lasers. All right, so what are some parts that I recommend keeping in stock if you have a full-time business? So I would recommend always having extra lenses and mirrors. Those are something that if you drop one, if you crack one, if you break one, if you don't have an extra, then you're pretty much stuck with nothing. So always keep those in stock. You can get some on Amazon. The Cloud Ray is pretty good. Their lenses that they have, I've tried and tested those out and they've done great. And mirrors, always keep all of the backup things of your optics, because I've broken them before. I've dropped them on the floor and cracked them, and then it's just good to have them in stock. So I like to keep at least 2 extra just in case. And then another thing I would say to keep in stock is an extra power supply. So we have not had to change our power supplies out at all for our lasers yet, but I like to have it just in case. And I think it was, I don't even remember how much it was. It was a couple $100, but the fact is you have it. So if you need it, you have it. And if your laser has a problem with the power supply, you have it and you can plug it in. And all will be good to go with that. And then another thing I might want to keep a backup of is a exhaust fan, just in case your exhaust fan decides to go out, something like that. You can have it there and plug it up and it'll be good to go as well. But those are just a couple little things that I would probably just keep on hand just in case, to keep everything running smoothly. So just some takeaways that I would say after the couple years of having laser, just off the top of my head. Keep the parts in stock, like I mentioned, because you just never know when you might need them, when you might break something and you just need backup stuff. So always keep that in stock. Always watch your laser. Never think that you can walk away and just leave them running for extended periods of time. I've seen horror stories of people just having like warped wood or something where their head was touching, and fire hazards and just different things like that. You just don't want to take any chances. So always kind of be in the vicinity of your laser, keeping an eye on them. Some people like to put cameras on them, but when you're running a machine that is cutting things, you need to make sure that you just kind of keep an eye on them. So always keep an eye on your lasers. Always keep wood in bulk if you can, because sometimes, like, I don't know if any of you had started businesses during the time of the pandemic and all that stuff, but wood was really hard to find. So you never know when there might be wood problems again. So keeping wood in bulk is great. A lot of times if you contact local lumber yards, you can get wood for your lasers pretty affordably because you're buying in bulk. And then you can take them home and you can cut them down to the size of your laser and just find a good spot to store them if you have the space for that. But yeah, keeping wood in bulk, making sure that your wood is flat, because warped wood is a nightmare to work with. I know there were some brands that I used to work with in the past, like different brands of wood that would always be warped, and it was just so much fun to have to sit there and flatten everything out. So finding a good quality wood that is pretty flat and storing it properly does good for that too. But I know a lot of you have always asked, where do you get your wood? So I just wanted to mention that, going to local lumber yards, trying to find a good quality of wood. Remember that too, you're going to learn as you go. So all the things that might come up, which there will be things that come up, and there is a lot to learn with owning a business. And if you decide to get a laser, there's a lot to learn as well. But there's beauty in that. And I feel like I've learned so much throughout these 2 to 3 years, where I feel like any problem that might arise, I feel like I could tackle it. I feel like I could get it and learn. And with the help of the support and the different communities and just all the things, I feel like you can truly thrive within a laser business. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video, and hope that y'all enjoyed it. I tried to cover as much as I could think of, but I definitely wanted to do an update video because it's been going on 3 years of having the lasers. And I think that honestly, my biggest takeaway for you guys is that these lasers have held up very well to a very busy full-time Etsy business where we are running them all day, every day, and we're really getting the quantity out. It is only my husband and I, and those lasers have really held up well to how much work we're pushing them through. So if you're asking, is the Thunder the way I should go? Should I get the Thunder for my business? Is this a laser that I can expand and grow? The answer is yes. Yes and yes. The support, the quality, the efficiency of the machine, and how, the versatility, the different things that you can do with it. I mean, you just can't go wrong with it. And I hope that I could be a testament to the fact that anything that has come up, if there's any issues, they fix it, they handle it, they help you out, they're there for you. And running a business, that's important. So those are the biggest takeaways I have for the last 2.5 years, y'all. I cannot believe that we have had our lasers. December will be 3 years for the first one. And I just think that is absolutely insane that your business can blow up just making a decision for your business and really putting the work and effort into it. And it's a beautiful thing and it can change your life. And like I said in my 1 year update, I think it's amazing to be able to wake up every day and do a job that you love. And it is a labor of love, I will tell you that, because it's never easy having a business. It takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. And it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, hope that y'all enjoy this. If you have any questions for me, leave them down in the comments. I will respond to them. And any other updates or Thunder laser videos you want me to make, let me know. So I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.